Hello everyone, welcome. Hello everyone, welcome to our edition of the Ohio Guys here. I'm Christian Ocampo, and today we're joined by Vic Chao. How you doing, sir?
Good, good. How you doing, Christian? Good, glad to be on here.
Yeah, it's great to have you here for an interview. It's very exciting. We've got some questions that we're going to ask you.
Sounds good.
First of
May I
all,
start with one question
yeah.
to ask of you because I forgot to ask you this beforehand, and I have to know this. What is the Ohio Guys? I mean, why is the name the Ohio Guys?
Funny you should ask that. The original members that started before I joined in, they were all from Ohio, and they were
Oh,
many different actors that do voices. And
okay.
one of the actors they freaking met named Greg Ayres, he was the one that christened the group, the Ohio guys, because it because it made more sense to just call the same group of guys, just the Ohio guys. And then I joined in by officially in 2014.
You ruined the whole name after that, right? Because you're in Illinois, right?
Correct. Yeah, for the viewers who have stuck around or the new ones that are tuning in, I'm actually in Illinois, so it is ruined in its own way, thanks to me.
Okay, that's cool. Well, I'm glad to let you in, even if you weren't from Ohio. And yes, so sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. Feel free to jump in whenever you want to with your questions and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about your background, your history. You did mention that you had some growing years. You were originally supposed to be an engineer, but you actually broke into the acting world. So why don't you lead us through that?
Okay, yeah. Basically, I was supposed to be the good Asian kid. I was a smart kid, a good student, and decided to study engineering because I felt like I had to either become an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer. And I was like, well, an engineer doesn't need to go to grad school, so I'll just study that instead. Um, but the fact is, it wasn't my true love. I've got kind of an interesting background. I grew up very small and scrawny, and I got bullied a lot. And because of that, I think I always just I grew up idolizing Spider-Man because he was this smart, scrawny guy, but he had this special power that made him really, really special. And I think that's something that I just always internalized, where I just wanted to do something really special. And I think acting kind of appeals to that because you get to be something, you get to be something else, and so even if the basis for that is some insecurity of wanting to be something else, it's okay. I mean, because it resulted in me eventually becoming an actor, which I'm so happy to have be able to experience. But yeah, basically, I was really small growing up and got bullied, and fortunately, I came across martial arts and gymnastics, and both of those just helped me grow so much as a person. And I was like, oh hey, even though I'm small and scrawny, I can do some really cool physical stuff. And again, Spider-Man was a gymnast in his own way. He did flips and everything. So it made me feel like kind of like Spider-Man, and it was a really great positive influence for me, and also learning how to defend myself and learning confidence. And then got the engineering degree. I went to Stanford. I was very blessed to go to Stanford. And I don't know. I should just mention my mother is just this an amazing person because she managed to raise three kids all by herself when my father passed away when I was really young, and like so she always just I think instilled in me just I could see the strength in her, and it made me want to try and be strong like her. She's just amazing. And so yeah, got the engineering degree. I used to develop medical devices, and then once I saved up enough money to become an actor, I quit. And my mother was not pleased about that at all. She was exceedingly unhappy about that, very understandably. But I quit and pursued acting. And one of the really cool jobs that I got, one of the very first jobs that I got after I quit was I became an entertainer for the Chicago Bulls, which wound up leading to me being the mascot for the Chicago Bulls, which was like the greatest job ever because you can just be a total clown. And of course, I got to use my gymnastic skills and do flips on the court and everything like that. And so yeah, that's a kind of a roundabout way of saying it, but yeah, basically started out young and bullied, and like as a need to overcompensate. I studied gymnastics and martial arts, and then got the engineering degree, developed medical devices, and here I am, an actor now.
Well, I'm glad you're a full-time actor doing what you love. So, tell us, what is your favorite project you have worked on?
Oh, funny you should ask, because I just happen to be wearing a T-shirt that says "Seis Manos," and that just happens to be my favorite project that I've ever worked on. From a voiceover standpoint, it's amazing. It's a Netflix series, a Netflix anime, it's a Netflix anime, and it is a Mexico-based supernatural martial arts anime, Mexicanime, if you will, and the project's amazing. I play Chu, who is the martial arts master to 3 Mexican orphans, and it's an amazing series. It really is. It stars Danny Trejo as the lead bad guy, and Mike Coulter, who's on the CBS hit show Evil right now. He's also Luke Cage, of course. Also Angelica Vale, who's a Mexican telenovela star, and Johnny Cruz from Overwatch, and Island Derbez, who's also just a huge star in Mexico, and like all of these voices have just combined to make this just amazing project. And I'm so proud of it. I really am. Because it's a martial arts story, but it's not the typical martial arts story. Like just as an example, in the first episode, they introduce there's this character who's this like annoying kid, but he wants to join these who wants to join the three orphans as and learn how to fight with them and stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. He's going to be a pest, but they're going to let him join the circle. They'll teach him to fight, and eventually, our 3 heroes, those three orphans, they're going to be trapped somewhere. They're going to be like tied up, and he's the only one who can fit into a sewer pipe or something like that and squeeze in and rescue them. And I was like, okay, I get it. That's cool. I get it. And that's not what happens. So there are surprises all over the place. And yeah, I'm really proud of it. It's exec produced by Brad Graber of Powerhouse Animation Studios and Rob Pareda of Viz Media, which is so Powerhouse. They do some fantastic animation work. They were primarily known for Castlevania, but now they're coming out with a whole yeah, exactly. They're coming out with a whole slew of wonderful projects, including Seis Manos, including a He-Man remake. And Brad Graber is it's pretty darn cool. And Brad Graber is the CEO, and yeah, he is a powerhouse. There's a reason why they have that name, and Viz Media, of course, is just this noted distributor of animated series, a lot from Japan, but they're actually delving into their own original stuff, and so they're on board with Seis Manos, and working with all of them is just been a pleasure. And I tend to be kind of shy. I think there's actually quite a few actors that are shy, which is kind of surprising for our profession. But yeah, I'm a little bit introverted, a little bit shy. And that first day of recording, I remember, feeling a little bit intimidated, and Brad was there, along with the director Willis Bulliner and the casting director and voice director Meredith Lane and stuff. And I'm oh yeah, and I think and yeah, the writers were there as well. Alvaro Rodriguez. Sorry, I'm just babbling, but we've got time, right?
Yeah, same time,
right.
same time.
So yeah, Alvaro Rodriguez is the writer of Machete, that amazing Danny Trejo movie. Yeah, exactly. He's the writer of Machete, so yeah, like he and Daniel Dominguez, who interestingly enough was a writer on SpongeBob SquarePants. They wrote all of the episodes. This Seis Manos is definitely not a SpongeBob SquarePants type of thing. It's a little more Machete in nature. I think it's been described. Seis Manos has been described as Coco meets. Oh wait, what was it? Coco meets. Oh. Give me just a second. Can I look up that? Can I look at that? It's Coco meets something on the. Oh yes, of course I remember. It's Coco meets Kill Bill on the set of Machete. So I think the perfect long line for that show. Anyway, as I continue to just ramble, I was feeling pretty shy about that, a little introverted, and Brad Graber, he met me and he said, "Okay, here's the posters. I want you to autograph it." And I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "There's nobody else has autographed this yet." He's like, "That's because you're the very first actor. This is your very first recording session with the actors." And just the act of him inviting me to autograph these special posters just made me feel welcomed in. So it was he's a pretty amazing individual, and yeah, just like that made me feel like I was part of the family and stuff. So it's on. So Seis Manos, it's on Netflix, and yes, if you haven't checked it out yet, I do encourage all of your listeners to check it out. It is really an amazing series, and like I said, it's not your typical martial arts series. It makes you think that it's going one direction, and then all of a sudden it's just like, no, it's not going to happen like that. Oh, this is totally different. And what's really cool is when you watch it a second time, you realize there are little subtle hints that have been placed, like maybe something in the foreground or the background, or just a line or two that just alludes to something that doesn't register the first time you watch it, but then you realize, oh, that was actually a hint, So,
yeah.
And oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I love the show. I just love how the blend of the whole Chinese and the whole Mexican cultures, came together. Like, I thought about, something like that, but we never had it, like, any time the last, 20 and 30 years as the Chinese martial arts was, introduced in the West. This is something new. This is something different. It's fresh. I'm glad we have something like Seis Manos, right here now.
Thank you so much for checking it out. I really appreciate it. So yeah, really appreciate that you've seen it, and yeah, we're very proud of it. It's just cool, and yeah, there's definitely a lot of twists and turns in it and stuff, and it's a little bit gory, so it's not a kids focused thing. It tends to be more for adults and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so speaking of gore and blood, got another title with that. Tell us about Mortal Kombat X. What was that working on that video game?
That was amazing. And I couldn't tell anybody about that project for like 2 years. Video games very frequently make you sign NDAs. But when I learned that I was doing Mortal Kombat X, I was just like, oh my God, I want to tell the whole entire world. That was incredible. I got to play 3 characters on that. I got to play Kenshi Takahashi, who's largely just like my regular voice, but he's the famed blind swordsman, and so I got to use my regular voice, and it was so fun. And then there's Goro, who's the 4-armed behemoth, and that one's really fun because I just went, "Oh, sorry, my dog is looking at me. She hates it when I use this voice." Sorry, my dog's freaking out right now. Hold on a second. Let me grab her.
That's fine.
Sorry about that. Okay. This is my dog Pop-Tart right here. And
ooh, cute.
And so so Pop-Tart's cool and everything. But yes, some of the voices that I do freak her out. And she definitely does not like. Sorry, she does not like Goro. But yeah, so getting to play those 2 characters. Oh, and then I also got to be Sector / Triborg, kind of like the humanoid robot type of character. So getting to play all 3 was amazing, especially Goro because he's just so memorable, and Kenshi because he's just an icon of Mortal Kombat. And I just remember the pain that my throat was in for like literally 3 straight days, like because there's just so many fight efforts going on. Like a standard video game, there's very frequently fighting and you're doing fight efforts, but because there's so much gore in Mortal Kombat and so many different ways to die, you've got to figure out different, they just have you doing different levels of it, so it's like, okay, so now your head has been shoved into your body, into your chest cavity, so you are screaming, but it's muffled, and so you're trying to that sort of thing. And so yeah, because the gore is so creative and so varied, there's just a lot of different types of yells that you just try to imagine and come out with, and that was really painful, but totally worth it. I'd do it again, even for the 3 or 4 straight days of pain that resulted from that.
Definitely, it would take a toll.
Oh, and one thing that was actually really awesome was that that actually directly led to me getting to voice Goro in Ready Player One, the Steven Spielberg movie that came out a couple of years ago, and so I get to check that off of my lifelong list of things of be in a Spielberg movie, and so I'm actually in a Spielberg movie, so as Goro, so that was fun.
Congratulations, and yeah, like I'm happy for you that you've I guess check mark that off your list. That's amazing. And I know people would love to be in a Spielberg movie. Like any actor, they're like, I wish I was in one.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's an honor. So
definitely. All right, another video game you got to work on, BioShock Infinite. So tell us, what was it like working on that video game?
That was funny because I didn't know I was working on BioShock Infinite. Once again, so in that case, I don't think they gave me an NDA. They just didn't tell me what I was working on. So they just said, okay, your character, he needs help, he needs to be rescued and stuff like that. So they just gave me the lines, but I don't think I was on an NDA for that one. But I just had no idea what I was working on, and then I would just get these random emails from people saying, "Oh, I loved your work on BioShock Infinite," and I was like, "I'm not on BioShock Infinite." And then I checked the internet, and I was like, "Oh, hey, I'm on BioShock Infinite." So yes, that was a nice surprise to learn that I was in BioShock Infinite. So.
Yeah, definitely.
And,
It's a great franchise. It's a classic right now.
yeah, yeah. I never got to play the first one. It's which is too bad. Like because I know all about it and I know the important plot points and stuff like that. So I would just imagine playing the very first one and seeing the storyline like reveal itself would just be so mind blowing and stuff.
Hmm.
So
Oh, definitely. All right, and now it's time for our fun little question we like to ask everyone. If you could be any character you have played in real life, who would you be? And you can mix a match.
okay, mix and match. Good, good, good. Um, because I mean I gotta say being Goro is such an honor. So you gotta if you can combine the sheer power. Sorry, Pop Tarts again looking really concerned. But if you can combine, the sheer brutality of Goro, with the wisdom of Chu and his what word like his demeanor and love of everybody, then I think that would be an undefeatable combination.
Yeah.
As a martial, and also Chu is one heck of a martial artist too. So yes, if I could combine Goro and Chu, then I think that would be the best character. It would just be interesting though, because you would keep his voice, but keep Chu's wisdom. So it'd be like, be the gentle rain, not the angry wave. What is soft is strong. Oh, that's a really odd way to put it.
Yeah. Wow. No, you've actually take the cake for that one. I like that. All right. And another question: is there anything else coming out that you can talk about, or anything else you want to plug in at this time?
Again, NDAs prevent me from speaking about most of the video games that I'm working on. So unfortunately, I can't talk about too many video games. I did some voice work in the movie Abominable that came out pretty recently. So that was a lot of fun. And something that came out last year that was very fun was an episode of Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The episode is called "You Got Served," and of course it was a blast getting to work on that one. But what made it really notable was that the director of that was Rob Paulson, who was the voice of Pinky from exactly, like it was the voice from Pinky and Pinky and the Brain, and that was incredible because the way he could effortlessly switch from one voice to another, to a girl's voice, to a Brooklyn gangster, and he wasn't trying to put on a show. This was just how he was, his voice would flip back and forth, and it was just so effortless and almost like unconscious. It's like it just seemed like he did voices the way other people breathe. It was just this natural thing. So working with that guy was incredible, and just to see his talent at work really just blew me away. So that was a lot of fun. Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You Got Served. One thing that one project that I do have coming up that I'm super excited about is an episode of Ben 10. That's a great children's show about this kid who can turn into 10 different creatures with the help of his watch. That's on Cartoon Network, and I am not allowed to say what character I'm playing, but it's awesome. I was kind of freaking out when I learned what this character was. So I don't have a date for the release of that episode, but it's an episode of Ben 10. It's a special episode of Ben 10, produced by the amazing guys over at Man of Power, and directed by Colette Sunderman, who's this amazing casting director, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Definitely. So, social media question, and we ask this to everyone: any Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any other those guys for fans to follow you on?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for asking about that. Twitter, my handle is Vic Chao. So, twitter.com/Vic Chao. That's V as in Victor, I as in India, C as in Charlie, C as in Charlie, H as in Hotel, A as in Alpha, O as in Oscar. So, Twitter, it's Vic Chao, VICCHAO. Instagram, it's Vic Chao 1, as in the number 1. So V as in Victor, I as in India, C as in Charlie, C as in Charlie, H as in Hotel, A as in Alpha, O as in Oscar, and the number 1. And Facebook, it's Vic Chao Actor. So VICCHAO Actor, ACTOR. So yes, would love more followers and would love people to push me and motivate me to post more, because growing up, like I mentioned, I'm introverted. It's hard for me to talk about myself. And in fact, growing up, I think the Chinese culture has changed, I think. But when I was growing up, you didn't talk about yourself very much. It's kind of bad form to talk about yourself. And as a consequence, I'm not always comfortable doing so, and it feels like I'm bragging when I say, "Oh, this is so cool. I'm working on this project," and I guess I need to learn that it's not actually bragging. It's just sharing. It's being grateful for what you have and sharing with people. So it's something that I'm trying to get more comfortable to do, but yes, if I have more followers who engage with me, it'll motivate me more to do more of this social media stuff, which I should be doing. Yeah. So.
Well, thank you, Vic, for your time for this interview. We, the Ohio guys, we appreciate it. We appreciate having one of the cast members from Seis Manos to join us, talk about, your whole experience from beginning to end. So, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Christian. Oh, by the way, can I just mention, just tips for anybody who's interested in getting into voiceover, and if that's okay. Oh, thank you so much. So I won't actually go into the the nuts and bolts, because there's plenty of stuff on the internet about that and stuff. But I just wanted to say that you can get started fairly easily. You don't need to build this giant. You don't need to build a sound booth. I record in my closet personally, and so it's you need a microphone, and if you don't even want to spend the money on a microphone for now, just use your phone just so you can play with it, play with what your voice can do, learn how to use some basic audio software, and so that's a really inexpensive way to get started, quite frankly. So quite frankly, my career in voiceover has been able to grow and flourish because of a microphone and free Audacity software, and that's how I've been able to book jobs. So yeah, there's even cheaper alternatives out there. So yes, if it's something you're interested in, I definitely encourage people just to poke into it and realize you don't need to spend thousands of dollars at the outset. Start small, start with a microphone, or just play with your phone and stuff like that. So
definitely good advice for interviewers who have been following this gentleman, because of Seis Manos and some of the other great games he's been in. So everyone just, take what you can from what you learn from both him and other actors out there. You never know what will happen, and no one knows, that they will end in the next Seis Manos. All right. Well, thank you, sir, for your time. Much appreciated.
Thanks so much, Christian. Absolute pleasure talking to you. And again, thank you for having checked out Seis Manos. I really appreciate it. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure, anytime. And thank you to our viewers for finding us on here in our edition. We will see you next time, everyone. Bye now.
Bye, guys. Thank you.